Hey everybody, welcome back to Enjoying Retirement. Boy, do I have a special video for you today. I'm going to do a comparison of a do-it-yourself spearfishing trip I did recently down in Florida with a spearfishing guided trip I took a few days later. This is going to be part one of a two-part series because I also did the same thing with regular rod and reel fishing too, so stay tuned for that. In this one, I'm going to show you the highlights of each of the trips, and then at the end, we're going to discuss what I thought about it and which one I recommend. So let's get into the do-it-yourself spearfishing. Easiest way to get into that is mangrove spearfishing, and that is just finding an open stretch of area where it's legal. And be careful, make sure you know the rules. You can't do this within 100 yards of a public beach, within 100 yards of a fishing pier, private property, man-made canals and things like that. But anyway, once you find another spot, just jump in, hug the mangrove trees, and look at all that life. It is absolutely amazing. I was stunned to see how clear the water is and what the life is. And within a minute of starting out, getting to the hunting area, I had a nice mangrove come right in. So one thing you got to know is you got to know your fish species, your identification, and know what's legal size, what isn't. Make a quick decision and go for it. You saw how quick he came in and how quick I had to shoot. And that is a beautiful 16-inch mangrove snapper. That is bigger than anything I've caught on a rod and reel down there. And like I said, that was within a minute and a half of getting to the fishing area where I was beginning. As always, I brain and bleed. Braining puts them out of their misery, and bleeding them gets the blood out, and I think it just makes the meat taste so much better. I'm using my homemade 40-inch mid-handle spear gun here, and that adds a little specialness to it as well. I have another video showing how I made my wife's 36-inch mid-handle, and you can take a look at that if you want to be able to make something like this too. But basically all I'm doing, I'm just snorkeling, hovering right in the warm salt water right underneath the mangrove trees, as you can see there, and enjoying life, enjoying the scenery. It is absolutely a great way to fish and to see what life is like under the mangroves, hugging the coast of the Florida Keys all the way up and down. And of course you can't spearfish in Isla Mirada area and a little bit south of that, so you really got to read the rules and know where you are. But there is a lot of open spaces where you can do this and have a tremendous time. Again, just take a look at the life. It is just swarming with fish. Now these are all pretty much, most of them are legal, which is I believe 10 inches in this area, but I want to hang out for, oh look at that big one. Did you see that big one on the right side? He just took off. That was probably a 20-inch mangrove. He was huge, but unfortunately I never saw him again. So I'm just waiting there. I probably stood still for about 5 minutes just seeing what was coming through. And if I didn't see what I want, I'd just go ahead and move on. And on this particular dive, everything that you see here happened in a space of 55 minutes from the time I got in the water to the time I got out. Incredible. Just keep moving around the mangroves if you don't see what you like, and what you'll probably find is some places are just full of life and others are empty or very sparse. That could have to do with the current, the amount of light entering the area, whatever. But just keep going. You'll find it. All right, let's watch for a while. There you go. He came in. You got to be quick. They're not going to give you a whole lot of time. These are curious animals. They will come to you if you're just calm, pay attention. Hey, they don't have 5G internet yet, so without YouTube and TikTok, checking you out is about the highlight of their day. Boy, what a beautiful fish. And for my money's worth, they're one of the finest tasting fish down in Florida. Again, gonna brain it, kill it, bleed it, get the bloodline out, get as much blood out of the meat as I can, and I'm also gonna gut them on the spot right there and return a little bit of food back to the area where it grew up. Rehook my spear gun. Now, I'm keeping the fish on the spear gun line. I do have a separate stringer that I could attach to my weight belt, but that is pretty dangerous. You don't want to attach these fish to yourself. All right, let's just watch. We're within a minute of having just put my gun back together from the last shot. There you go. That literally was within a minute of after I got everything taken care of on the last fish. This one's a little bit smaller. He's only about 14 inches, but that's still a good size. I am very, very happy. All right, so now I've got 3 of them on my line. Got to organize them a little bit, but once again, you just don't want to have fish connected to your body. And frankly, we're going to see why here in a moment. The limit, I believe, is 6 in this area. I've got 3. Probably won't go to 6. I just can't handle 6 on the line, but let's just watch for a while. Try to pick out a keeper-sized fish and take your shot. See how fast it happens. Now, if you notice that fish, he was quivering. That means that I hit his spine. I didn't kill him by hitting his brain, but I hit his spine. Be careful about that quivering. By braining them with your knife, that'll put them out of their misery and stop that quivering. It's actually that vibration that attracts sharks and other predators. So you want to limit the amount of vibration as quickly as possible. All right, I've got 4. I'm going to load up just in case I see something else. Get the camera at the end of the gun set. That's how you've been getting those great underwater pictures. Well, I'm pretty happy with the 4 I have. So I'm going to keep moving on. Take a look at that seafloor. Notice anything unusual? We're going to stop it for a moment. See that beautiful little plant right there? That's not a plant. Those are all upside down jellyfish. This area is loaded with them, and I was so focused on my fishing, I did not see that. These little guys are unique. They eject a cloud of venom about 8 inches away. All right, those are all parrotfish. Can't shoot those. You gotta know what fish you can, what you can't. Look at all those jellyfish. All right, I'm stopping one last place. I'm just going to hang out for a bit. I mean, I really love this. It's like floating in a warm hot tub, and you have a chance to pick up dinner. But I noticed something hit my leg. I looked to the side, saw a dust cloud. I just figured a snapper hit me. A few moments later, it happened again. I looked to the side, and oh boy, here we go. That is a juvenile nurse shark. The thing's only about 3.5, 4 feet long or so. He's hungry. He wants those fish that are attached to my spear gun, and I want to keep them. So I'm just using my spear gun as a way to keep him off. I dropped my die flag earlier, so you saw me using that in my left hand to try to fend him off. And finally he gave up, and I left the area. Happy to have my fish and everything else. Boy, that was a great day. A few days later, I was in a dive shop and I saw this flag. Oh, come on. Using a dive flag as Olay. Oh, by the way, those jellyfish, they got me. Be careful. All right, a few days later, my wife is joining me now. We're going to do a scuba spearfish adventure. It's a 6-hour, 3-dive trip, and it too was a whole lot of fun. We're with Forever Young Spearfishing. If you ever want to go spearfishing, free diving spearfishing, or just a scuba trip, anything else, they are your guys. Wonderful people to work with. All right, this is our first dive. I've got my spear gun, given the okay sign to my wife and the guide who's with us, and we're going to head down. load up my gun. This is a longer gun. I believe this one is about 56 inches long. It's got a rear trigger, so it gets quite powerful. Putting 3 bands on it. Boy, am I hopeful to get my grouper finally. This dive is about 45 feet on average. We're going to end up spending about 45 minutes there, and it's more or less a drift dive. There's a little bit of current. My wife has her 3-prong, and she is hoping for lionfish. She just loves lionfish. Unfortunately, this reef is pretty bland, but we do see a mangrove snapper. I'm sorry for the camera angle. You didn't miss anything, because I did. I shot right over it. After getting those 4 snappers earlier, I was pretty confident in my shooting, even though it had been about 6 months since I had been out. But I had forgotten that this gun shoots high, and I shot right over the back of it. All right, keeping in contact with my wife and the guide. How much air is left in the tank? Number of fingers on your arm indicates thousands of PSI, and the other indicates hundreds when you raise it up. Okay, we're going to back up now. Did you see what I saw in that last one? That is a green moray eel. They get up to be about 8 feet long and 65 pounds. Now, you're going to see those throughout the Caribbean, and normally there's nothing special to it. They're fun to watch. They're not aggressive. They are protective of their area, so you don't want to get close to them. But they don't follow you. They just poke their head out. They keep moving their mouths. That's just what they do. So generally, you got no problems. Just maintain your distance. The last shot you saw there, I took a practice shot. Since I had missed on it, I want to take a practice shot, and I lined up and in some sand, picked out a small rock, and I hit it. So, hopefully I'm back on track. All right, dive number 2, a different spot. We had spent about an hour up above. All right, got some more. What we're looking at here are some yellowjacks, and again, I apologize for the camera angle. But this time, I got my yellowjack. The guide comes up with his gun. We had prearranged that if there was a school or something, I'd take a shot with my gun, he'd hand me his gun, and I would get a second shot. There you go. Now I'm 2 for 2. Now I'm feeling pretty good about myself again. They're small, but they're yellowjacks, and boy, do they make wonderful sashimi and poke. So, not exactly a grouper, but hey, it's a good start, and I'm getting some confidence back. Brain and bleed, just like before. We see a few fish here, but nothing special, and the reefs just, they don't look good. They don't look healthy. The water in late May was 89 degrees, and it's only going to get hotter. Again, you got to know what fish you can shoot, what fish you can't shoot. Lining up again on yellowjacks, and I missed. Apparently I got too overconfident. All right, reaching back for the guide's gun. Going to take a shot at the second one. I miss again. Oh my gosh. I'm waving bye-bye to him. Okay, third and final dive. This is our last chance. Before we jump down here, we all talked, agreed this was going to be my wife's dive. Primary focus is on lionfish. If we see something else, great. But we're going to follow her. We're going to try to get some lionfish. We'll give the okay signal. On the way down, I see a really nice mutton snapper. Communicate with the guide. He knows I'm heading off. Unfortunately, I was swimming into the current, which slowed me down, but then slowed the snapper down and finally I look back, I realize I'm getting away, I'm losing the primary purpose, I need to stay with them, so I just head back, but I had my chance. Okay, so let's follow along, see what we can see on this dive. Again, this is a new spot. I believe we're down about 55, 60, 65 feet here, and just right away we see this reef is full of life. Very positive signs. very happy to see quite a bit more life here. That bodes well. Keeping an eye out. We're looking for lionfish in all the cracks and crevices, as well as seeing if any grouper are coming by. There's one of those other green moray eels. Notice how he stuck his head out when we came by. They normally really don't do that. They will just kind of stay there and watch you. All right, my wife's chance. We saw a lionfish. She's up there. Lionfish is at the top. It's been about 6 months since she used her pole spear, so she missed it. But look at this. Look at this. She has no idea there's that thing on the right. That is another green moray eel, and she about stuck her hand on it following the lionfish. You got to be real careful that you don't get tunnel vision when you're focused on your prey. Just like hunting whitetail, anything else, you can get really focused on it. Now watch this guy. Look what he's doing. He came out of that after we left him alone. He is chasing my wife. That is amazing, and you're going to see these green moray eels a few more times on this video. They were everywhere, and I had never seen them this aggressive. Pointing out the lionfish to my wife, making sure the eel is trying to stay safe. But I have never seen eels as aggressive and as moving towards people as I did on this trip. I hope that's just a one-off thing and not common. All right, we see a black grouper in the distance. I'm closing the gap. We had talked beforehand with the guide and had agreed that if I had a chance to get a black grouper, because I'm scuba diving, not free diving, making a lot of noise, I'm gonna charge it, head straight for it, and go for a holding shot. I had a 3/4 angling away. I couldn't get the broadside because he was moved away too, but I got him. A little bit low in the belly, so I'm not pulling on it. I'm letting there. I reached back for my guide's gun, hoping that he was coming up. Unfortunately, he thought I had a good enough shot, so he runs down and he's going to try to take care of the fish. But I was a little concerned about the shot and really wanted to put a kill shot into it. Well, he's got it up and it broke free. That's okay. Typical behavior of black grouper once you catch them is they're going to head straight for a rock. So we just have to get into that rock, find out where he is, put another shot into him, and pull him out. So now begins the hunt. Looking in every crevice, every crack of that rock. Things got a little dusted up when the fish went by, as well as all of our fins, so that just makes it a little bit more challenging. A lot of silt on the bottom. I mean, it didn't take much to really dust up this area. I was surprised. All right, but not a problem. We have plenty of air, and we are going to stay down here until we get this guy because we know he's in that rock. Pull out my flashlight, going to start looking in. The dust makes that a little bit worse, but we know he's in there. There's only 3 or 4 entrances and exits, and he has not moved yet. Just a matter of finding the right angle and finding the next shot. I can see some dust moving back there, so I know he is in there. I'm on this side of it, my guide's on the other side. And we just got to find the angle to get that second shot. He's in there. He's moving up dust underneath those rocks. My guide thinks he has a chance to grab him. Sticks his hand in there. He's doing his best. I really appreciate the help he did. The fact that the fish got lost, that's not his fault. That's entirely on me. I took a long shot. Only had 2 bands instead of 3 on. We thought we had a holding shot, but he got off. And that was really heartbreaking. But that's okay. We're going to get... Oh my gosh, look at that. Did you see that? That green moray eel, or another one, chased us down and went into the hole with the grouper. I'm trying to tell the guide that's what I saw. I gave a universal swimming type motion. He wasn't quite sure what I was talking about. He thought I might have seen the grouper swim out, but then I go back and try to give him a much better description of what I saw go in. And I'm going to use my hands and try to make a head of a eel clamping down, and he knows. No fish is worth sticking your arm blind into a hole with a moray eel. And as bad as I feel about letting that injured fish go, there's no way I'm going to let him, or I'm going to stick my arm in a hole that's been claimed by a moray eel. I don't know if these guys have learned that if spear fishermen are around, come by, claim the fish first. I don't know what it is, but these guys were aggressive. Anyway, the nice news is all that action attracted a red grouper, and I got my shot on him. A good shot. Again, it was quartering. Wished it were broadside, but hey, it went behind the left gill, came out the right eye. This guy isn't going anywhere. So just like everything else, we're going to brain and bleed and be happy I got him. But, you know, anytime you injure a beautiful animal and you can't recover it, it sticks with you. Hopefully you learn your lesson from it and you become better the next time so you never repeat that error. But it does happen. All right, we're seeing some lionfish for my wife, so we're moving on. There it is at the top, if you can just see it. She's had her practice now, and she got it. One thing she learned from years past is as soon as you hit it, don't pull it out. Drive that 3-prong through the fish to make sure it is hooked. And that is a beautiful lionfish right there. She did good. That's a perfect shot on it. She sees another one. She's going down for it. I'm looking out for eels. I am a little leery about eels at this point. All right, she gets another lionfish. Put that back into the zookeeper, letting her know the guide's to her other side. Get that in, and she has another lionfish lined up. Look at that. Can you see? Middle, top right there. Just shine my light on it. That's another green moray eel right there. Fortunately, it stayed in its hole. All right, so that's going to conclude the dive. We had a good time. Again, I feel awful about the fish, but let's do a comparison. DIY versus charter. To cost, what the risk is, how much fun it was, and what the lingering satisfaction of it. Cost of a do-it-yourself mangrove dive is very cheap. Just got to have the gun, snorkel gear. The charter, very expensive. The risk, yep, there's risk, even that. I mean, you saw sharks, you saw jellyfish. On the charter, I'm giving it an extra risk factor because you're scuba diving in the ocean. Fun? That definitely goes to the do-it-yourself, though the charter was pretty darn good. But overall satisfaction, how much I enjoyed everything, that nod goes to do-it-yourself, and by a pretty good margin. Charter is good, but boy, I will take that doing do-it-yourself mangrove snapper fishing every day of the week. All right, hope you got something out of that. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. As always, I am enjoying retirement. Thanks for watching.